Good journey, everyone. Welcome to Space Oats Live. I am the crucial crew member, and it is Tuesday, May the 9th. What a great week it has been since last week. I know last week it was a little bit longer than usual because last week I did this on Monday because there was a lot that happened last week. So, because it was May the 4th week. So May the 4th, lots going on. We also had a really special cruise on the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. And a lot happened around that week, around that time as well, before and after. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about some goings-on that happened all the way through May the 4th, some releases that happened. We'll dive into some pretty much everything. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. So we're going to get started. I'm actually just queuing up something just to have on in the background because, got to do that while I'm doing a podcast here. Figured I'd throw on some Empire Strikes Back. How about that? Got to restart it, though. Apparently, I was watching it before. That's not weird. I'm going to change my view here for a minute. Get a little bit closer. There we go. Excellent. And look who it is. It's Patrick. Patrick joining me this evening. Video's super choppy. Uh-oh. Let's see. Did that fix it? Tell me if that fixed it. Because I just went into a different camera mode, so hopefully that worked. I'm going to actually just check and see. I'm going to pull it up myself and see how it's coming through. Negative? What? Oh, no. That's not good. I don't like it when the video is choppy. That's no good. That means there's just really bad connection at my house today. So let's just see. Let me see if I can't do something about that. We're going to take a look at this real quick. Yeah, it is really choppy, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Ah, no. That's not good. Yeah, well, I mean, can you hear me okay? That's the one thing that's really important, is if you can hear me. Maybe it'll smooth out in a little bit. I'm going to hope for that. But hopefully you can hear me okay. And that's the main thing. Audio is totally fine. That's good. Well, you know what? If I'm choppy, I'm choppy. I'm not really going to be showing much. I mean, I kind of wanted to a little bit, but maybe it'll come through a little bit clearer when I start to show some stuff anyway. But so yeah, let's get started. So man, what happened last week? Oh my goodness. So we had a awesome, as Patrick knows, we had an awesome Starcruiser, Galactic Starcruiser special May the 4th cruise. A lot of returning passengers from before. And yeah, I wasn't working that cruise. I don't work on May the 4th, and I don't work on Wednesdays. So unfortunately, I was not there. But we did have a really cool muster meetup that happened. And we got to see each other. Most of us got to see each other beforehand at a very special event down at Disney Springs at the Stargazers Lounge at Disney's, well, not Disney's, but at Planet Hollywood. So the Stargazers Lounge is like the little outside bar area there in Disney Springs, right just to the left of the entrance of Planet Hollywood. I had never really been there before, but Heroes of the Halcyon actually got this together. They did an amazing job. I know they had some help from some friends, and they organized this really cool event. DJ Elliott came over to provide some music and support in that way, which was really awesome. We also had a lot of passengers, former and current, and others that made some really awesome items for auction, which we then had bids for, and all of those bids and that money went to Make a Wish, which was really cool. I ended up getting some items, which was really cool. I got one. One of my bids actually won, so it was really cool. And unfortunately, this is where, if the video doesn't work, you're not going to be able to see this. But I will probably try to post these a little bit later, just so that you all can see. But I can't remember who actually did these, honestly, and because I don't have the paper, which I really hope that somebody can provide me with that information a little bit later. I've been meaning to reach out to the Heroes of the Halcyon to see who actually provided these items. But so some artwork. So one of these was from Gaya. Video's gotten a lot better. That's great. Awesome. But this one is Gaya. Back it up here so you can see it in full force. Oh, no. I want to display these, but I don't have enough room yet to find out where I'm going to put these. But that's the first one, which is really amazing. That was actually the reason why that one was right there, and that was the main reason why I got these. Actually, was that one right there, that one print. This one here of Rey, and then also a bunch of awesome other women in Star Wars, which is amazing. So because you got a bunch of people in this one, got Ahsoka, Leia, Jin, so many others in there. Really cool, hidden in the background there. This print here of Wani, which is outstanding, right? Look at that. Insane artwork. I know Holly's going to love this one when she sees this one. She might actually try to buy this off of me. Maybe I can do a trade. I really do love that one, though. I've actually fallen in love with that one. It has whoever's signature that did it is on that one. That one's actually signed. And then this one of Gaya, which is outstanding as well. With the tears. I mean, look at the tears, the sadness. Love that one. And then this really cool one here, which I think crew member Belle really loved, but I love it because it's got that Woodstock vibe. Really cool. Oh, it's I know who it is then. I bet you. Bet you I know who it is. Yeah, so it was those prints. Pretty amazing. Yeah, Phil, and I can't remember his last name, but he's in London, isn't he? He's in England, I believe, based in England. I think that might be it. But yeah, they're all signed, and I love these prints. Like, I'm so glad I got those. So I'm gonna have to reach out to him and just tell him an amazing job. I really do have to find a way to display these because they're really awesome. But all the cost, I mean, obviously that went to charity, but it was worth every penny of that because those are some really awesome prints, and I love them to death. I love every single one of them. I'm loving them more and more every time I look at them, and I really got to get those up on my wall somewhere, reorganize and put them all over. So yeah, they're outstanding. So I love those prints very much, and there was some amazing, all sorts of amazing items there. I actually bid on something else, but I got outbid for the other item as well. So unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But it was great, really good times. Got to spend a lot of times with people that I never really chatted with before, and it's nice to be able to chat with people outside of the Starcruiser, which is really cool. And we got to hang out for a good 3 hours or so, a little bit more, and yeah, we had a great time. Beforehand, I had went down to Disney Springs, and I took a look at some of the. I wanted to see if there was anything ahead of time available for May the 4th, because sometimes they release it ahead of time, before actual May the 4th. The only item that was there, and I still have yet to get it. I don't know if it's still going to be, Phil from HE Creative. That's it, HE Creative. I couldn't remember. what it is. But yeah, if you don't know who that is, go check out his artwork. It's amazing. Um, yeah, he's also did an interview on Heroes of the Halcyon not long ago, so you can go back and listen to that. He's been a passenger on the Starcruiser before as well, so that's what inspired some of his work, um, as far as the Gaya work and the Wani work and everything. So really amazing. So I'm going to reach out to him and thank him for those awesome prints. Um, yeah, so because he did a great job with that. Yeah. So I went to Disney Springs ahead of time. I wanted to see if any of the creations were available. There was one available, but it's really big, and it's warm in Florida, so I didn't want to buy it and then it melt by the time I got home. But they have this really cool Queen Amidala chocolate piece that you can eat at the ganachery. And I was thinking about getting it on Sunday night after I went down to Disney Springs I went to the movies. But I kind of forgot after the movie because I was really tired and I knew I had to get up early on Monday morning. So unfortunately, I did not get it. Hopefully, it's still there. Maybe I can swing by there. I don't know. I don't know at some point and grab that, but we'll see. If I don't, I don't. But it is a really cool piece. I don't know when I'll eat it anyway, and yeah, I don't even know. It's definitely for two. It's like $35, but it's really beautiful, and I'm sure it's great because it's from the ganachery, so I'm sure it's fantastic. Sometimes those items last all month. They'll make them through the end of the month. So I know that I think the Dole Whips, the BB-8 Dole Whip is available all through the month. I think also they're doing the Tano Pops at the ganachery as well as the little um, Millennium Falcon like chocolate pops at the ganachery as well. So if you're close to Disney Springs and you want some cool little Star Wars themed snacks, head on down there and get those. All right, so let's talk about May the 4th. Let's talk about May the 4th. Lots of things happened on May the 4th. First, I just want to say something that really amazing happened in California. That being Carrie Fisher being honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which, one of those things that us as Star Wars fans, obviously, she deserves nothing less. So, posthumously awarded this. Unfortunately, she's not with us uh, to share in the celebration of having that star on the Walk of Fame. But it was right across from her mom, um, which is really awesome that they were able to find a place close to her mom. And Mark Hamill, her daughter, Billy Lord, were there to share in that celebration. And yeah, it's amazing, to be able to have that. So maybe one day I'll get out there and I'll be able to. I think it's near the El Capitan Theater, I believe, maybe like right out in front. That's what it sounded like anyway when I was listening to Who's the Boss podcast. I believe Mike Celestino actually went to the spot and took a picture with the star. It was either him or it could have been the Thank the Maker guys, or it could have been both of them that have had posts with them there. So, but yeah, definitely well deserved, and that happened on May the 4th as well, which is such a great time to be able to do that. Honor her with that star on that time. Um, Currently, you can win a trip to the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. If you go to, and I know I like to type this down. I believe it's you go to the Disney Shop Disney. I believe. I think so. I know if you just type it in, you can usually like pull it up, but I can't remember where you go to submit your app to submit your but it's a choose your destiny sweepstakes. Oh, here it is. Blah, 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 blah. You have to post an Instagram reel. Right? Is this the right one? I believe so. I can't remember if this is it or not. No, this is not it. This is it. Here we go. Yes, Shop Disney sweepstakes. You can, from now until May 31st, you can enter the Star Wars Galactic Shop Disney sweepstakes for a chance to win a vacation to the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. So everything's included. Obviously, then what's with the normal cruise, and then you also get a $500 Disney gift card and up to 4 round trip tickets airfare. So yeah, pretty much all costs paid for the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. I wish I could win it, but I can't because I'm a cast member, so I can't enter that, unfortunately. But my friends can, and then maybe, they can take me with them. That would be great if they won. But yeah, so Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, go to Shop Disney for that sweepstakes, and you might win a trip to Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser. That is a way around the big cost of that. There are also new magic shots available at Hollywood Studios. For anybody that didn't know, I have not partaken in any of these magic shots, but there's some really cool ones, and you can try to check some of those out. I believe there's a couple of them with like BB-8 in front of the Falcon. The really cool one that I really like is the puck, the bounty puck. You can get a magic shot with the bounty puck. Also, I saw them doing this on May the 4th. Was they have the dark saber over by like across from kind of right next to the milk stand. Like if you're looking at the milk stand, to the right of the milk stand, there's a doorway over there, and they have the dark saber available to be able to pose with, so that you can get that shot with that one. I believe that's all of them. The new ones. So it's the BB-8, the bounty puck, and the dark saber are the 3 that you can get at studios that are new. So if you're a frequenter at Hollywood Studios, you can go get those magic shots or new photo op spots at Galactic. Black Spire Outpost. So pretty cool. All right, let's talk about some of the releases now. So the one release that I immediately jumped on May the 4th, because I actually went to Galaxy's Edge, got up early, and well, actually, may or may not have stayed up till midnight to wait for that Gaya album to drop. But it's not Gaya's album; it's the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser album. So officially, it's the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser soundtrack, with Gaya featured, as well as other songs. So it's pretty much half Gaya, 6 Gaya songs, and 5 other songs on there. So the 6 Gaya songs are the ones featured during her show on the Halcyon. The only one that is not featured is Ula Shuka, and that has already been on the Oga's Cantina soundtrack. So even though they kind of don't really meld well as far as the same sound, they did not decide to do a different version of that for the current album. But you have New World, which is really amazing. That was the one that it's one usually that starts off her concert on the ship. You have Gaya, which is an amazing song. You have the Hayananea song, which is one of my favorites. But my real favorite is the next one, which is Coaxium. You have Poverty of Love, which is kind of like a ballad, which is really cool. Rockstar Queen, which if you know how to do the Ryloth slide, that goes with that song. So those are the 6 songs from Gaya that are on the album. So again, Coaxium is definitely my favorite. So, but I was immediately listening to this album on my way to Hollywood Studios in the morning. Listened to it pretty much all weekend long, to and from work, as well as some other times. So it's an amazing album. I can't get enough of it. Can't stop listening to Gaya. They're definitely done very well. As far as the studio versions of these songs. There's some other songs on there that I actually liked as well, but to run kind of through the rest of the list, you have Ra 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 from Cassis Yisik, Far From Home from Rebel Base, Stargate Swing, which actually is one of my favorites of the other songs on there. That's from the Funky Futurists. No, that's from Lucky Ferraris. And then Starlight from Funky Futurists, and then Nesh Godo from Baro Baro. So, yeah, the 11 songs, the total time of the album is 41 minutes and 20 seconds, which is pretty good length, but not, enough. I love the cover as well. A really cool artistic portrait of Gaya on the cover of that album, so pretty amazing. So really awesome album. If you haven't checked out Gaya, listen to that. And then even if you haven't even gone on the Starcruiser yet, go ahead and listen to Gaya. Get familiar with her songs. That way, if you happen to come on board the Halcyon and Gaya is playing, you'll know everything about Gaya. So really awesome. So just curious. Well, I know what Patrick was doing on Star Wars Day. He was actually on the Starcruiser, and he was in Batu. I was in Galaxy's Edge all day, which is usually what I've been doing the past couple years, being at Disney, is spending the day at Galaxy's Edge. So I, again, first thing when I got there, I got there pretty early. Pretty much right before they allowed regular park entry in. I woke up in the morning and I actually immediately got into the virtual queue for the store, the Star Wars Day pop-up store, because you could do that from home. So I did that at 7 o'clock before I left the house. I got to Hollywood Studios. I immediately headed towards Blackspire Outpost, which on my way there, I already saw some people that had gone in and gotten the Cal Kestis lightsaber, which was released on Star Wars Day. This is the double-bladed lightsaber. That does split apart. Was able to confirm it does come apart into 2 separate sabers. It also changes color. You can change both blades colors, and you can make them different colors. So you could have, like, for instance, one blue, one red. So all of that very intricately made. It came in a display case that was pretty fancy. They were numbered for that release, and it ran about 400 credits. So pretty pricey. I did not buy it, which that was to my wife's surprise. She thought I was going to come home with that, but I did not. My want for Star Wars Day as far as sabers did not get released. I am still waiting for that Caleb Dune fan favorite to be released. That is my next Legacy Saber purchase whenever that gets released. So still waiting for that. Whenever that gets released, I will be heading to studios to go pick that up. My virtual queue for the Star Wars store on Thursday wasn't until about noon, so I had a lot of time. as I was heading over to Black Spire Outpost was when I ran into some people that had bought the Sabers. I was chit-chatting with them a little bit. They were not former passengers on the Halcyon, but they were frequenters of Black Spire Outpost, as well as they did go to Star Wars Celebration in London. So we were just chit-chatting about that a little bit. And then I headed back to Black Spire. I actually ran into Holly and Brian Fry on my way as I was talking to them, and I caught up with them. We head over to Black Spire together. It was agreeable that we were going to go ahead and get some Ronto wraps in the morning because, who doesn't want a breakfast Ronto wrap? Those are the best wraps. So we went and got some breakfast Ronto wraps. We met up with some other amazing Disney cast members and friends, and we all kind of hung out outside of Docking Bay 7 and enjoyed some breakfast and sat there and had a lot of visitors from the Starcruiser as they started coming on down from on the transports and coming over and saying hi. So it was great to be able to see everybody, say hello. I ran into some other friends that were there. I ran into other crew members, former and present, that were running around Black Spire Outpost that day. So you just got to see a lot of faces and just hang out with a lot of people that just love Star Wars, which is great. It looks like they had an Arcana 5 meetup, like of groups that were there at some point in the morning. There was, I was able to see the Heroes of the Halcyon again and say hello to them. It was just really, really good times seeing a lot of people that were maybe I didn't see on the muster meetup. So ended up talking to Drew from the Heroes of the Halcyon for quite a bit. And then I ended up heading over to the store at about that time, which I ended up picking up some of the merch. There wasn't as much merch this year as there was in previous years. It is a moving one. Interesting. I didn't even realize that. So the oversized May the 4th bin, which was limited to 4,000. It does move. The R2 moves back and forth. I just noticed that. But there we go. So that is the May the 4th Be With You oversized pin. The R2 in the middle does slide back and forth. I like oversized pins. This is pretty cool. I didn't bring the hat in. I actually just realized that my hat is in the other room because I wore it the other day. But basically the hat looks like the smaller pin. The smaller pin is the Greedo May the 4th Be With You pin. We're all about Rhodians this year. So that one's a limited edition as well. Obviously, limited release. The hat looks the same. I did buy the hat as well. I did post that on Instagram. I was wearing that the other day when I went and saw Guardians. I also got the sipper that they were selling at Docking Bay 7 and Ronto Roasters. So this is the sipper. It is purple and gray with a gray strap there. And then it has this little creature inside. This little guy here. And the nice thing when you buy these things at Disney is they tend to know that most of the time you don't want to put any drinks in them. So they don't even bother. They just give you the drinks separate, which is really cool, and then give you the souvenir mug. I got the May the 4th Be With You t-shirt. So that is the back of it, actually. May the 4th Be With You. And then this is the front of it with the different drinks from I guess like Oga's, I guess. I guess that's the Oga's drinks. Guess so. I don't know. Seems like it might be the Oga's Cantina drinks. So that shirt, and then this shirt here, which the front of it has the May the 4th be with you with the two suns, the Tatooine suns, because the back has Take Me to the Cantina, which I love this one. So Take Me to the Cantina with the Muff Tack, the towels, right? The towels. That's what they are. Towels. Oh, heck was I saying? The towels is what they are. Yeah, that was a gift that somebody gave me. This was a Starcruiser passenger gave me this pin. I don't remember who that was. And then I got the Starbucks Been There series mugs. So we got this one, which has, these are like espresso shot. So you got Coruscant, Mustafar, and Jakku for that one. This one is Tatooine, Endor, and Batuu. Those three. Bespin, Dagobah, and Hoth. Basically, these are mimics of the coffee mugs. But I got so many mugs, I just don't have any room for anything anymore. And plus, I figure, you know what, you can get more of these for cheaper. And then Navarro, Naboo, and Octo. So I got all 4 sets of those. I have to say my favorite, and I think this is the newer series, is the one with the Coruscant, Mustafar, and Jakku. I love the coloring on the Mustafar one, the orange. Yeah. I like that one the best, I think. Definitely. Yeah, that's my favorite. The Mustafar one. The coloring and everything. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. I don't think of anything else. Oh, I ended up picking up some crystals. Oh, yeah, and then somebody gave me an actual piece of Alderaan. That was a passenger on the Starcruiser as well. So that was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what I picked up. Oh, you know what? Speaking of gifts, Here's the Halcyon had a really cool little gift pack that they gave out at the meetup, the muster meetup. Got some Heroes of the Halcyon stickers, some cards. What else? They had trading cards too. These were pretty cool. They give out packs for each of their characters. So George Sakul, Drew Vox, and Captain Malifa Sant. So they had like trading cards basically of areas of the Halcyon, as well as some stickers, which is cool. And they kind of were based on the old Topps cards, which was pretty awesome. And then I think this was a coaster too. Yeah, a Let's Go Starcruising coaster. Basically having the Starcruiser Superfans muster meetup. It's pretty neat. Yeah, amazing. Amazing stuff. Amazing. What was the rest of the day like on May the 4th? May the 4th, so after the store, I ended up having lunch with Patrick and Drew and Patrick's father-in-law, David, which was pretty awesome. Met up with them as they were having lunch, and then ended up kind of walking around a little bit. I ended up meeting up with Martin and Christine from Heroes of the Halcyon, and we ended up riding Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run together, which was a lot of fun. I ended up meeting back up with Holly Fry and some other friends of hers, and we ended up, I ran into more Starcruiser people at some point during the day. I ended up getting blue milk, green milk, revisited Docking Bay 7, and for a drink with Martin and Christine and Holly and Brian and everyone sometime in the afternoon. It was a mixed match of just seeing people all day long and having fun and enjoying the day on Batu. I stayed all the way till the end of the night. I was going to do the lightsaber meetup, but it got really crazy on Batu. I did stay through it, but I did not go over there for the lightsaber meetup because it was just insane. So I just spent kind of the rest of the night just chatting. We were sitting over at Ronto Roasters, which was closed by then, and just kind of relaxing and enjoying the nighttime on Blackspire Outpost. We ended up riding Rise of the Resistance too at some point in the afternoon all together, which was great. So pretty much did everything that you can ask for in Blackspire Outpost. Had a lot of fun. So being at Hollywood Studios all day Thursday for May the 4th was exhausting. So Friday, I spent the morning watching all of Visions 2, Volume 2, as well as most of the Young Jedi Adventures series, which the episodes that I did not finish, I ended up watching on Saturday night, as well as the new Simpsons Star Wars parody, which I forget the name of, but I watched that as well. So speaking of Visions Volume 2, let's start talking about Visions Volume 2. So Visions Volume 2. These episodes, unfortunately, I'm going to say that some of them hit me really, really hard, and I loved them. But other ones, I was kind of, I need to go back and rewatch them. Let's just put it that way, because I kind of just didn't really, I don't know, care for them the first time around, maybe. But let's talk about the first episode, because I think it started off strong. I think Visions Volume 2 started off really strong. You had this episode called Sith, which was had a really cool spherical droid that almost, when the droid had a little bit, you almost thought about BB-8 a little bit from this droid, but then later on, when it kind of puts its legs out, it almost looks like one of those crab droids, almost, or some droids reminiscent from Attack of the Clones. Had a lot of similarities between some of those. There was a human woman with a cybernetic arm, which her name was Lola, which was the art style, by the way, was really cool. It was very like brush stroke look, which was really awesome. kind of early on, you know that she's force sensitive. It's got a kind of lot of artistic vibe to it, almost like a Sabine Wren feel to it when she's kind of getting into the paint and so forth and the bubbles and but everything kind of goes wrong when she's trying to like control everything with the force, and kind of things go dark every time. So there's this like pull to the dark side, which immediately kind of ties into that title of Sith. So not really knowing how this episode was going to go, there's a sensor alert that kind of goes off, and apparently whatever planet she's on, you know, she this has happened before, so she kind of goes out there to investigate it with the droid E2. She ends up jumping on this cool wheel bike that is kind of reminiscent of the General Grievous bike from Revenge of the Sith, which is a really cool bike. I love the style of this bike and the use of it in this episode. She ends up getting to this little beacon area and finds three individuals there, which basically come, as her understanding, as being the saboteurs of the flawed beacon, basically. The one of them you find out is like a Sith Master. He basically encounters her and basically says, you know, she made a promise, and the Lola character says that she is no longer a Sith. So obviously, you know, this is who the episode is about, with that story of Sith, and can you really get rid of that nature, or fighting that nature of Sith, I guess is the point of this story. The Sith minions have jetpacks, which is really cool because she goes to flee. They kind of take off after her. She uses these really cool blasters mounted on the wheel to like take one of them out. Gets back almost to her base of operations, which then she gets blown, you know, thrown from the wheel bike. The droid E2 basically pulls out this cannon and takes out the other minion of the Sith, basically just taking his head right off, which is really, really cool. And then the Sith Master comes and they have a cool duel. She actually, from the whole time up until this point, did not have her lightsaber because she left it back in the ship. And she finally gets that back. She has a really cool yellow blade. So she's fighting this Sith Master. And then it gets to the point where her blade becomes a double-bladed weapon, but one of the blades is still red. So she's got a yellow and red blade, which is really cool. Like her lightsaber is amazing. I would definitely think about getting that blade if it was made into a legacy saber at some point, which would be really awesome. But and then she basically just strikes him down like nothing at all. So he basically at that point tells her that she's done well and she's become a Sith Master. So and he becomes one with the Force, which is interesting because we don't know the Sith can do that. So Lola repairs the droid because the droid got destroyed by the Sith Master earlier. Basically, they depart from that world, and she leaves behind a really cool finished mural of her double-bladed lightsaber, which is really awesome. And basically, she acknowledges that she's a master now so that she can paint her own destiny. So going back to that artistic vibe as well. So I really love this episode. Honestly, it's one of my favorite episodes of Visions. I think it started off very strong with this episode, but the artistic style of it, the brush stroke painting style of the animation was really cool. The characters, the character of Lola, the droid E2, the Sith Master, I think they were all well done, and I think it was a really entertaining episode from start to finish. The second episode just kept going very strong with Screecher's Reach. Screecher's Reach almost has this horror vibe to it, which was really awesome. You got kind of didn't really understand the beginning of it, with like the workers kind of in this factory, but then you see these young individuals kind of walking away from that area, um, and one of them basically saying that they're getting out of here. Um, the one is wearing this little necklace that she keeps. I think her name is Doll. Is wearing this necklace that she keeps kind of pointing to throughout this whole episode, almost talking to it in a way. They say they're going to Screecher's. She says she's going to Screecher's Reach, which one of the other characters named Quinn basically says that it's haunted, and the rest of them kind of agree to go along. Um, they take some speeder bikes. They go through, and they get to this scary place, which this is where it really becomes kind of this horror story. They tell the story of Screecher's Reach a little bit, that no one's ever come out of there, that has seen the. I think they actually do refer to her as a witch, um, or the ghost or whatever. Um, and the one character Doll kind of gets separated and goes ahead, and then you start to see images of this being that's in there, and then you hear this scream of this being. The cave starts to collapse. They all, the Doll character tells everyone to get out of there. She stays. She gets trapped in there, and then she has to kind of face this being that's in there, this creature. She sees a light and she starts to climb towards it. The creature ignites a red lightsaber and starts to, and actually she realizes it's not a ghost because the lightsaber actually does inflict harm to her. She starts to go up to the light and then kind of uses the force to pull this rock down, and then it like crashes and basically pins down this Sith witch that's in this cave. The lightsaber gets knocked free. Doll actually picks up the lightsaber, and kind of the creature, the Sith witch, is pulling her forward, and she's like pulling back, and then finally Doll ignites the lightsaber. They do not show it, but basically you realize that she has killed the Sith witch at that time. She emerges from the cage with the lightsaber, basically says that she was strong. The little amulet on her, around her necklace, turns red, and then all of a sudden this starship approaches, and then there's this other female figure that comes out, which come to realize that this is kind of like a Sith mother as well, descends from the vessel, basically says that this was a test and she passed, and bids her to come with her, and Doll goes with her. So kind of like dark ending there, because this child is basically becoming a Sith. So a lot of really dark elements in this episode. So really different, and this one was from Ireland, so just totally different than anything we've ever seen in Visions. So I thought this was really amazing. The third episode, Into the Stars, or In the Stars, I wasn't too excited about this one. It was okay. I thought it ended very well. I just thought it was kind of long in the beginning. It took a while to get everything going. The animation style was okay. Was pretty good, but not much that I can say that I kind of liked about it. It was basically about two sisters who were the last of their kind because the Empire came and kind of ravaged their planet type of deal, basically contaminating and using their water supplies. And then when their mom had kind of fought back, then ended up being killed, and then the rest of the village being bombed and so forth. So yeah, they had to go and get water, and then basically ended up having to fight back when they were discovered. So and they ended up using the Force and basically destroying everything, kind of doing what their mom could not. So I don't know. I just felt that there was kind of a little bit lacking in that episode. I wasn't too keen on that episode. The fourth episode, I Am Your Mother. Basically, a young pilot named Annie, which was interesting because you keep hearing that, you're like, oh, Anakin. It had a lot of vibes from the Phantom Menace and the pod racing scenes. So again, I wasn't too into this episode. Again, I felt it was kind of just like a lot of parallels to the Phantom Menace and so forth. But it was just basically kind of like a different type of pod race, and a mother and daughter relationship, and so forth. So I don't know, that one didn't really do much for me as well. Journey to Dark Head, I thought was kind of interesting. I kind of want to watch this again. I didn't. This was when I started, I guess, because of the third and the fourth episodes not really sitting well with me. I kind of lost a little bit of interest and was kind of getting a little tired anyway. But this one, I think I want to go back and watch this one again. Because I think I'd like this one if I really paid attention to it a little bit more. Because it had a lot of really cool, interesting Jedi, Dark Jedi, battles and conflicts, and kind of turning the tides of the Galactic Civil War type of feel. So it had a good quest story, I felt. So I want to really go back and watch that one again, because again, I don't feel like I gave that one enough of a watch. I think it started to get me like, oh, I need to start paying attention to this again. Because the next episode, Spy Dancer, was again one of my favorites. Spy Dancer, I thought was amazing. It had this really cool dancer at a famous Imperial frequented kind of like a cabaret venue. And then there was this mysterious officer that kind of shows up, and this dancer kind of notices him and doesn't really know who he is. And then all of a sudden, she basically just starts to wreak havoc on everyone there. We come to find out that this officer is her son that was taken away from her, which you kind of get a glimpse of in the beginning of the episode. And obviously he does not know this. But at the very end of the episode, she leaves, she lets him live, and you kind of have this feeling of what's the ending of this story. You don't really know. You almost think that there could be a continuation of this, which would be really cool. I mean, I really enjoyed the characters of this story. Again, this was one of my favorite episodes, Spy Dancer, so definitely in my top as far as those episodes go. The next episode after Spy Dancer was the Bandits of Golak. This one didn't really give me a lot of interest either. I mean, it was a good conflict of one, with the Empire and this group that was fleeing their village and so forth. Um, the one younger sister of the family is force sensitive. Um, it was okay, but again, not my favorite episode. I might have to give that one another rewatch. That might have been another one where I was just kind of losing interest a little bit. Back again, the pit. The pit was the next episode in line. Um, this was interesting. It was basically about this prisoner that was forced to dig for Kyber by the Empire, and basically planning this escape. Um, so I thought this was like an interesting like story. So I want to really go back again, watch some of these again because I don't really remember a lot of it, but I did remember kind of getting good vibes from that episode. And then AU's song was the last episode. Um, I didn't really care for this one too much either, but I don't know. It just seemed like too. I know they wanted to kind of give an episode with like music and so forth, but it kind of like had these ties to the Kyber and so forth, and I wasn't really getting it too much. But her songs were basically having an effect on the crystals and so forth, and it it just the story really wasn't much for me. But honestly, like my favorite episodes were definitely Sith, Screecher's Reach, um, Spy Dancer, and then if were my top three. And if I were to put them in an order, I would have to say that it would be it's so tough, but I'm gonna say Spy Dancer number one, Screecher's Reach number two, and Sith number three. Um, as far as the one, two, and threes for me, but it was a good series. I like seeing different, also different countries being represented. I mean, we had Spain, Ireland, Chile, United Kingdom, South Korea, France, India, Japan, and South Africa. So it was pretty amazing to be able to see some of these. And again, my favorites is like Spy Dancer, um, the origins of the studio. That was a French made anime, so I never thought I would be interested in anything from France as far as animation. Screecher's Reach was Irish, like I had mentioned before, so that was interesting. And then Sith was from Spain, so pretty cool. Um, and I mean, the Pit, which was really good. I mean, that was from Japan, so um, so a lot of cool different perspectives on some of these uh, these new shorts, which were pretty amazing. If you haven't checked out Star Wars Visions Volume 2, go ahead and do that. That's on Disney Plus right now, streaming. I also, again, I checked out the Young Jedi Adventures, the episodes. Just going to kind of run through those a little bit real quick. The first episode, so they worked as a 2 episodes per release. So like each episode had 2 stories, put it that way. So the first one had 2 stories: the Young Jedi and Yoda's mission. Basically, Yoda sending these 3 young Jedi's to a temple on Tanu. The 3 Jedi are uh, Kai Brightstar, Lys Soleil, and Nubs. And then they have a pilot by the name of Nash Durango and her droid RJ-83, which is a nod to Return of the Jedi, being in 1983. They basically go to Tanu. They stop this pirate, Tabor, Val Dorn, and he has a pirate gang with them. They're robbing a local cafe. So basically, that is the premise of the first one. The second story of the first episode, basically Yoda sending them again on a mission to retrieve these seeds from a festival. And again, the pirate Tabor steals the seeds, but the Jedi end up retrieving them. Kai basically chooses to lose his lightsaber in this one to save his friends. And then Yoda ends up gifting Bright Star his green training saber. So that's interesting. So the first episode does feature Yoda twice as well. Again, this takes place during the High Republic, so Yoda's a lot younger. The second episode consists of the stories Nash's Race Day and the Lost Jedi Ship. Nash's Race Day, probably one of my favorite episodes of the whole first drop. That was one of my favorite characters as well. So Nash basically in a skiff race, and the Jedi Master Zia allows the younglings to participate as long as they don't use their Force powers to cheat. So Nash has a rival in this, and that has always won these races, and the rival ends up cheating to gain the lead, but the teams ends up coming back and then coming into second place. But after they end up getting stuck, they work together to get everything free. Yeah, and then they get through and end the race and get that. And Zess ends up basically the one that cheated the rival that ends up cheating ends up acknowledging defeat and promises never to cheat again. So again, getting some of these little values for these younger viewers in this, don't cheat type of deal. The second story in that episode has them visiting the Jedi Temple Library, and they kind of discover some kind of starship tracker linked to an old starship called the Starseeker. With permission from Master Zia, they get with Nash and RJ-83, and they go on quest to find this. After navigating through an asteroid field, they get to an uncharted planet. They find the ship as well as the pilot of the ship, which is another droid called OGLC. And he basically was a brave explorer that kind of got lost. And they kind of help him get out of there and get all of his artifacts that he's found back to the Jedi Temple, and then he continues on his mission to explore new worlds. So episode number 3 was an episode Get Well Nubs, as well as the Junk Giant. Get Well Nubs. Nubs was sick in this one. They had to go get a plant from a tree way high up, so it ends up taking Kai and Liz on an adventure on their own. I actually really liked this episode as well. And the Junk Giant, I thought that was a good episode. The pirate Tabor ends up basically stealing parts from I can't remember the junk dealer's friend, but and creating this Junk Giant. And they end up defeating and reprogramming the Junk Giant, which is really cool. I love that one as well. It was a good episode. Episode 4 consisted of the stories Liz and the Snowy Mountain Rescue, as well as Attack of the Training Droids. I think this was when I started kind of falling asleep, because I don't really remember much of these episodes. The Jelly Fruit Pursuit, I do kind of remember that one, and the Creature Safari. but not much to be like, okay, these were amazing. Um, the sixth episode was Squadron and Forest Defenders. I don't remember these episodes at all. Some of these, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of these. And then the last episode consisted of the Jedi and the Thief and the Missing Kibbin, which I watched on Saturday, and I can't remember these. I just don't remember some of these. So, um, yep. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's definitely kid stories, but still good fun. Even parents can enjoy it. I mean, some of those episodes on like Disney Junior and so forth are ones that anybody can enjoy in the family. They can I kind of want to, and it's going to span out new generations of Star Wars fans. So we love that. But basically, yeah, crazy, crazy long weekend. A lot of stuff came out. I don't know what's going to happen this week because nothing's really going on. I'm going to try to go to Galaxy's Edge maybe on Thursday morning before work. I'm working Thursday night and Friday night, so I'm going to try to hit up Galaxy's Edge in the morning this week. I haven't been there since last week, so it'll be a week before I go back. And we'll see if I can get an Oga's and get some items before I get there. Maybe a Ronto wrap, a breakfast wrap in the morning. So I'll have to see if I can't make a reservation tomorrow for Thursday. But other than that, everything has been great. I'll be doing another episode next Thursday. And we'll see what's new on the Star Wars front. But until that time, have a great evening. Have a great week. Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Hope everyone enjoys Star Wars Visions 2 and Young Jedi Adventures, either or. Drop a comment. Let me know what you enjoyed, what your favorite episodes are, and maybe we'll talk about that next week. So again, until next time, it's been an honor. It's been my honor, and may the stars light your way.